Hey everybody, I thought I'd do a bit of a catch up today. I haven't really been telling you guys what I've been reading, what's going on, and all of that kind of stuff. So today we're here to talk about what I've read, what I'm reading, and what I plan to read in the very near future. So let's get started. Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel. It's Russell with Ink and Paper Blog. How are you all doing today? It is a beautiful day in Northern California today. It is perfect. The sun is out. It is gorgeous, so I cannot complain. I hope it's a beautiful day for you all too. I hope that you are healthy. I hope that you're happy. I hope you're safe. And of course, I hope you're getting some amazing reading done. I thought today what I would do is sort of just walk you through some reading. To be honest with you, I have been working. I have a lot of stuff going on at work and it is fantastic. But it does keep me away from reading for most of the week. So I do most of my reading Friday nights, Saturdays, and Sundays right now. And that has been working out just fine. Not as many books as I usually read, but reading some really amazing titles. So I thought I would share with you guys the last couple of books that I've read, the books that I'm currently reading, and the books that I plan to read very near in the future. It's right around the corner. They're going to get read, I promise. So as always, get out your pen, get out your paper, get out your Goodreads, however you keep track of your TBR. If you are so able, order these books from your local independent bookstore. Only one of these books is not out. So you can pre-order that one if it sounds up your alley. And always, if you're a library user, get your library to get you a copy of these books as soon as possible. Okay, so the first books I'm going to tell you about are the two that I've actually read and finished. I will, of course, do a full wrap-up at the end of March where I'll talk about them in more detail. But this is just sort of a teaser, if you will, because I really, really loved both these books and I want you to read them as soon as possible. The first is Clara and the Sun by Kazuo Ishiguro. Now, I am a huge Ishiguro fan, huge. I will say that The Remains of the Day will always be one of my favorite books of all time. You know how I like it. I like a quiet book. I like a book that's about people. I like a book about character. I don't need a lot of plot. And let's be honest, Kazuo Ishiguro is probably one of the masters of that type of book. And this book, Clara and the Sun, is more in the vein of Never Let Me Go, which I also very, very much love. But so we're set in sort of this future. We don't get a lot of details about it. Some things sort of come out throughout the book, but we do know that artificial friends exist. So these robots that people purchase as friends for their children. And our main character is Clara, who we meet at the very beginning in the store waiting to be purchased. And she meets a young girl who comes up to the window one day and they automatically have sort of this connection. And she is purchased and brought to this woman's home with this promise of being able to see the sun. The sun is actually the object that powers the artificial friends in this novel. And there's sort of like a godlike worship that goes on. It's almost like a religious sort of dedication between the AF's artificial friends and the sun. It's really well done. We learn very soon that the young girl who has purchased Clara is ill and has bouts of sickness. And this book is about Clara's position in a family as different dynamics change, friendships, relationships between mothers and daughters, mothers and ex-husbands, and just relationships between friends and the idea of what that means and the dedication. And what is so brilliant about this book is that Clara is sort of like our lens into sort of a meditation on the idea of relationships and gives us a perspective, sort of takes a step back, sometimes says things very in the like a blunt sense that sort of would be off-putting, but also are extremely on point. The book is filled with heart. It's filled with a little bit of sadness. There's planning that goes on regarding certain events that are expected to occur. I'm not going to give anything away because I don't want it to spoil, and this is turning into a very long review. But I will say The Remains of the Day will always be my favorite Kazuo Ishiguro book. I think it's brilliant. This book is right behind it. I thought it was amazing. So this is Clara and the Sun by Kazuo Ishiguro. This is out from Knopf, and you can get your hands on it right now. I bought my copy at the fabulous Kepler's bookstore in Menlo Park, one of my favorite people. people, places to go and purchase books. So shout out to Kepler's if you are in the Palo Alto, Menlo Park, San Jose area. I highly, highly recommend them. The next book is very different than the last book, but I loved it so much. And that's Let's Get Back to the Party by Salih. And I'm sorry if I'm saying your last name wrong, Zach. I really apologize. This was sent and gifted to me by Algonquin Books, so thank you so very, very much. My friend Ryan, who I host Spilling Tea Book Club with, had read this book and talked really, really highly of it. So I was so excited when it showed up in the mail. Now, Let's Get Back to the Party is a story of two different gay men who at one time knew each other when they were very, very young. They had a friendship, and then one of them moved away, and there's always been sort of this unfinished business between them. What is brilliant about this book, and one of the things that I will say, and I don't say this lightly, this is one of the best depictions of the different types of gay people. And I'm going to say they're in their 30s, but I think that this is more universal than that. But different ways that gay men can sort of look at the world. Now, we have Oscar, who sort of sees the world all through his libido, all through his sort of sexual exploits, and has a fear of relationships, friendships with any sort of depth, definitely relationships with any sort of romance. And he winds up meeting this older gentleman who has written these books that he has a real connection to, because that is sort of what they are about, these novels. But as he sort of connects to the books, he develops a relationship, a fellowship, a friendship with the writer that becomes very complicated and is brilliantly done. There were parts of Oscar that I really connected to. He has sort of this sense of wanting queer spaces and gay and lesbian spaces to be free sort of the world around, and sort of wants a space to sort of stay holistically gay or lesbian or queer. And he struggles with sort of this, and that's one of the things in the book that is really well talked about and developed and discussed. Our other main character is Sebastian, and Sebastian is on the other side of he's just gotten out of a relationship that did not go the way he wanted it to do, and he is more conservative. He's a little bit more just maybe in line with what is sort of expected of the world. He's a teacher, and he sort of creates this relationship with this student where he envies the student the freedom that the student has just to be queer, something that he has never felt he has been able to do, or gay. I don't think that Sebastian identifies as queer, but I think what is so well done is I also sort of feel that sometimes as a gay man in my 40s, and I see what young people are able to do and express themselves, I am envious of it. I know that there are so much stuff and so much work left to do, but I love the sort of self-expression that young people have. And this book tackles that. It's about their relationship. It's complicated. There's a lot of sort of very graphic sexual encounters in this book that are realistic across the board. I mean, I think that this book is so real to me. It just had sort of a sense of, I know these people, I know these situations, and it just really spoke to me. So that's Let's Get Back to the Party by Salih. And I'm sorry, Zach, if I'm saying your last name wrong. Out from Algonquin Books. You can get your hands on this right now. I absolutely loved it, and I really do hope you guys pick it up. Okay, the two books that I'm currently reading. The first book is for my Bicoastal Book Club that meets tomorrow, and we are reading The Hare by Melanie Finn. This is actually published by $2 Radio, who I've read now 3 or 4 books by this publisher, and I love the voices that they give. Like, they put out books that I don't know that I would read otherwise, and they're, you know what I mean. I just support independent publishers, and I love it, and they are great. The Hare is the story of Rosie, who later becomes Rose, is a young girl in college who gets involved with a man who is into some bad stuff, some illegal stuff. She winds up getting pregnant, dropping out of college. He winds up getting in trouble, so they flee to sort of remote Vermont, where he then later winds up getting arrested. and he goes away to prison, and Rosie has to sort of create her own life. She becomes best friends or really good friends with a neighbor named Billy, who I'm going to allow Billy to be in the book itself if you read it, because I think some of the stuff that happens around that character is powerful, and it's spoiler like, and I don't want to say that. I don't want to tell you guys about it. But really what it's about is Rosie's independence and some of the decisions she made. It's sort of a thriller, but really it's about a woman who has a daughter and needs to make choices in order to support her. And it's really well told. I found that I understood the story. I could see where it was going pretty easy, but I was rooting for Rosie. So that's part of it for me. Yeah, so it's really, I don't want to say too much. I will review it very, very soon. I actually just finished it just moments ago, so I have a lot of thoughts, and I can't wait to talk to my book club about it. But that's The Hare by Melanie Finn out from $2 Press. Okay, and then the minute I finished that, I picked up another book. It's me, it's you, we're readers, right? We just go from one book to the other. And that is Brewed by Jackie Polzin. And this was gifted to me by Doubleday. So thank you very, very, very much, Doubleday. And look at how beautiful that cover is. Okay, so this is a Russell book. And I feel like if you are someone who watches my channel, sometimes we can connect in this way. This is about a woman and her raising of a group of chickens on her property. It is about her relationship and the relationship she has with the act of raising chickens, the hatching, not the hatching of eggs, the having of eggs, and also there is such a sense of melancholy in this book. I can't wait to see where it's going. I should say, by the way, in The Hare, there is trigger warnings for abuse and, drugs and child abuse and that kind of stuff that goes on in that book. In this book, there is trigger warnings for some events that happen. I don't want to give it too much away because I think it's going to have, but there are some sensitive topics in this book as well. But it is beautifully written. I am flying through it. I think it is so well done. It is a quiet book. It's about it really is a meditation on melancholy and grief and loss and relationships, all seen through the eyes of a woman and her relationship with these chickens, which you're learning a lot about raising chickens, and you're learning about all that kind of stuff too. It is so well done so far. I am absolutely loving it. This is a debut novel. I cannot wait to see what Jackie Polzin does next. So that is Brewed by Jackie Polzin. This is out from Doubleday. Thank you very much, Doubleday. I am loving it so far, and that cover is absolutely gorgeous. Okay, so those are the books that I've read, and those are the books that I'm currently reading. Let's talk about two books that are right there at the tippy top of my TBR. The first one is In the Quick by Kate Hope Day. I feel like I'm about to go a little sci-fi. I actually just downloaded the audiobook. As an aside, just so you guys, if I've talked about this a little bit, the quarantine has done a really interesting thing for me. My attention span, due to the pandemic, has been very difficult. And when I sit down to read a book sometimes, if the world of a lot's going on in my head, I have a really hard time concentrating. I'm getting back to the In the Quick. So what I have found is I listen to the audiobook as I read the book. And having the words in my ear as I am watching them go by on the page has allowed me to sort of block out a lot of what's going on in the world. So I just downloaded the audiobook, and I ordered my signed copy from a local bookstore near Kate Hope Day so I can get it signed. And we're going to be reading the In the Quick very, very soon. This is a sci-fi tale, and it's about a young woman who is, she's like really gifted in mechanics, but she has a difficult time with society and social interactions. And she has a very brilliant uncle who has like this engine system, I believe. Let me make sure I got it. These fuel cells that are revolutionary that were put into this spaceship that disappeared like 12 years ago or so. But she doesn't think that it's gone forever. She thinks that there is a reason to go ahead and hunt it down. She winds up meeting up with a young boy. I say young boy just because he's probably in his 20s. She meets up with a guy who was a prodigy of her uncle. They create a relationship as they search for him, and their relationship gets more and more complicated. But of course, as as they go on this investigation, things come out, right? There's going to be that sort of mystery to it. Everything I've read about this book, there are many rave reviews. It's been picked for a lot of different things. I loved Kate Hopeday's first novel, If Then, and I'm super excited to do this. So I will be reading this very, very soon. So that's in the quick. Kate Hopeday. Obviously, I have to say thank you very much for this early copy to Random House. I'm going to be reading this very, very, very soon. But it is out now. You can get your hands on it as we speak. And then we're going to take another turn. So we're not in space anymore, and we're in rural Wisconsin with Raft of Stars by Andrew J. Graff. I'm going to hold that up. I really think that's a beautiful cover too. This is out from Ecco. Thank you so much, Ecco. This is the only book that is not out yet. It comes out at the end of this month, so you can probably get your hands on it very, very soon. This is the story. It's set in 1994 of two young boys who are friends that have very abusive fathers. And one day, one of the boys gets tired of that abuse. A gunshot goes off. They believe that they have murdered the father, and they go hiding and running into the forest. However, there's so much to that story, right? And this is the story of them doing that, and also the story of four adults who have gone searching for them. Before it's too late, they want to find these boys, and they want to, figure out what happened. But as that's going on, we're going to learn about those four characters as well, and how maybe all of this sort of connects together. So I have a feeling this is going to be a story about friendship. This is going to be a story about relationships. It's going to be a story about fathers and difficult fathers. And it's also going to be a story about hope and the belief in young children, all of that. I'm really, really excited. I don't know why this book, it just sticks in my head as something that I cannot wait to read. And I'm really, really, really excited about it. So that's Raft of Stars by Andrew J. Graff. This is out from Ecco and the end of this month. So you can probably get your hands on it very, very soon. And I hope you do, because I think it sounds fantastic. So this is a pretty good stack. I think this was a good update, right? Did you guys find a book that you would probably want to read from the stack? Let's see if I can flip this over and not drop anything. There you go. I may not be reading as much as I usually have so far in 2021, but I have read some corkers, and I have read some books that are really sticking with me, and I'm super excited about them. So I hope that you guys add one or two to your list. As always, if you're a return subscriber, I could not do this without you. If you are new to my channel, I hope you stick around. I hope you like books. I hope you like to talk about them. Let's talk about it in the comments down below. Please subscribe. Click the little button, listen to me talk about books. As always, I encourage you to read globally, shop locally, and until next time, I wish you happy reading. Bye!